We're counting down the top 3 most valuable Lincoln pennies ever discovered, could be worth not just a few cents but hundreds, thousands, or even millions of dollars. That's right, some of the rarest Lincoln pennies in existence can change your life overnight. These tiny copper treasures hold secrets of American history. We're talking about one of the most mysterious, rare, and valuable coins in U.S. history, the 1964 SMS Lincoln penny. A coin that was never supposed to exist, struck in secrecy, and surrounded by to this day. If you thought pennies were only worth 1 cent, stick around because the story of this coin will shock you. From its hidden history, to the incredible features that set it apart, to the jaw-dropping prices collectors have paid at auction, you don't want to miss a second of this. The historical. To understand why the 1964 SMS penny even exists, we need to step back into one of the most turbulent times in American coinage history. The year 1964 was a turning point. The U.S. Mint was overwhelmed by a massive coin shortage. People were hoarding silver dimes, quarters, and half dollars because silver prices were rising. At the same time, the assassination of President John F. Kennedy in late 1963 meant that in 1964, the Mint was rushing to release millions of Kennedy half dollars in his honor. Auction records and values. Now, let's talk about what everyone's waiting for: the value. Because of their extreme rarity, 1964 SMS Lincoln pennies have shocked collectors at auction. Here are some jaw-dropping results. In 2004, a 1964 SMS Lincoln penny graded SP 65 red by PCGS sold for nearly $14,000. In 2019, another example graded SP 67 red sold for an incredible $31,200 at Heritage Auctions. Experts believe that if a perfect SP 68 or SP 69 red example ever surfaced, it could fetch $40,000 to $50,000, maybe even more, given the right bidding war. And here's where it gets even crazier. Because there are so few known examples, some collectors speculate that a discovery of a new pristine specimen could push values into the $500,000 or even $1 million range. Imagine finding a penny in an old collection, only to discover it's one of these ultra-rare SMS strikes, and suddenly, you're sitting on a fortune. Tips for identifying a 1964 SMS penny. So how can you tell if you have one? Here are some tips. Check the finish. A satin, almost matte-like finish that is different from proof or circulation coins. Crisp details. Look closely at Lincoln's hair and beard. SMS examples have sharp, clean strikes. Square rims. Unlike most 1964 cents, the rims are sharp and squared. Authentication. Because they are so rare, it's critical to get the coin certified by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Important warning: many people confuse regular 1964 proof pennies with SMS coins. While proofs are collectible, they are not nearly as rare or valuable as SMS coins. Errors and variations. Now, here's something even more exciting. Within the tiny population of 1964 SMS pennies, a few have been found with minor striking errors or die varieties. For example, die polish lines that are unique to SMS examples. Slight doubling on the lettering or date, though extremely rare. Because these coins are already ultra-rare, any additional variety or error only skyrockets the value. Imagine a coin that's already worth tens of thousands suddenly doubling or tripling in value because of a unique error. Collecting and investing. For collectors, the 1964 SMS Lincoln penny is a holy grail coin. It's the kind of piece that can define an entire collection. If you're lucky enough to own one, here are some tips. Always get it graded. Never sell a raw 1964 SMS penny. Professional certification proves authenticity and maximizes value. Store it properly. Use protective holders and keep the coin away from moisture, heat, and direct sunlight. Long-term investment. These coins are so rare that values have only gone up. Serious investors view them as blue-chip numismatic assets. For most collectors, though, the dream is just finding one. It could be hiding in an old collection, passed down through family, or even mistakenly placed in a lot of ordinary coins. The legacy of the 1964 SMS Penny. The story of the 1964 SMS Lincoln Penny is more than just about money. It's about mystery, history, and the thrill of discovery. A transition point. In U.S. coinage, during a time of shortages and changes. A numismatic mystery. Why they were struck, and for whom, remains unanswered. An opportunity for collectors. The chance to own something so rare, it may never be seen again in your lifetime. And above all, it shows us that sometimes, the smallest coins carry the biggest value. Sounds impossible, right? Well, that's the unbelievable truth of the 1969 S-era Lincoln Penny. This coin isn't just rare, it's one of the holy grails of American coin collecting. A mysterious double-die error that stunned the world when it was discovered, caused a panic at the U.S. Mint, and today is one of the most valuable coins you could ever hope to find. So stay tuned, because in the next few minutes, we'll uncover the history, mystery, and record-breaking values of this legendary penny. And by the end, you'll know exactly what to look for, because yes, you could still find one today. The historical. The year 1969 was turbulent in America. Political unrest, Vietnam War protests, and changes sweeping across the nation. But inside the U.S. Mint, another drama was unfolding. The Lincoln cent, first issued in 1909, was one of the most common coins in circulation. By 1969, billions were being struck every year. The San Francisco Mint, marked with the S Mint mark, was producing proof coins and business strikes in the hundreds of millions. A die, one of the steel tools used to strike coins, was engraved incorrectly, instead of a normal design. What makes the 1969 S double die so special? Unlike minor doubling you see on common coins, the 1969 S DDO is dramatic and unmistakable. Liberty. Strong, clear doubling on every letter. Bold doubling that almost looks like two sets of letters stamped one on top of the other. 1969 date. The numbers themselves are doubled and stand out instantly. It's so strong that even beginners can recognize it without a magnifying glass. But here's the kicker: only a tiny handful of these error pennies ever left the mint. Experts estimate fewer than 100 survive today, making it one of the rarest and most desirable Lincoln cents in existence. Auction records and values. This is where jaws really start to drop. Because of its extreme rarity and unmistakable doubling, the 1969 S DDO penny has fetched incredible prices at auction. Here are some record-breaking sales. In 2008, a coin graded MS64 red by PCGS sold for $26,500. In 2014, another example graded MS64 red sold for $13,525 at Heritage Auctions. In 2018, a specimen graded MS66 red brought in a staggering $35,500. Experts predict that if a pristine MS67 red example ever appears, it could command $65,000 to $70,000 or more at auction. Think about that. A penny worth $1 million. That's the power of rarity combined with error collecting. How to identify that increased value? Not every 1969 S double die penny is worth the same. Values depend on several key factors. Grade/condition. Coins with full red luster and minimal marks are worth far more. Strike sharpness. Stronger, bolder doubling makes the coin more desirable. Certified authentication. Because counterfeits exist, having the coin graded by PCGS or NGC is critical. A well-worn example might still bring in $20,000 to $50,000, but a high-grade gem can easily soar into the hundreds of thousands. Collecting and investing in the 1969 S penny. For most collectors, owning a 1969 S DDO penny is a dream. It's considered one of the big three of Lincoln cent errors, alongside the 1955 DDO and the 1972 DDO. If you ever come across one, get it authenticated. Don't risk selling it raw. Auction is best. Big auction houses like Heritage or Stack's Bowers attract the highest bidders. Think long-term. With so few in existence, values are almost guaranteed to rise. Even lower-grade examples are trophies that instantly elevate any collection. The legacy of the 1969's double-die penny. The 1969's era Lincoln penny is more than just a coin. It's a story of mistake and discovery. How a mint error became a collector's treasure. Mystery and controversy. With Secret Service seizures and counterfeit scares. Value and rarity. Proof that even the smallest coin can hold unimaginable worth. It has cemented its place in numismatic history as one of the greatest American coin. That's right, a single penny, struck in the wrong metal, has become one of the holy grails of modern U.S. coinage. This isn't just any penny, it's the legendary 1983 copper Lincoln penny era, a coin so rare that only a tiny handful are confirmed to exist. A coin that was never supposed to happen, but somehow slipped through the cracks of the U.S. Mint. Stick around until the end of this video, because we're diving deep into the history, the mystery, and the record-shattering value of this extraordinary coin. And who knows, you just might learn how to spot one yourself. The historical. To understand why the 1983 copper penny is so valuable, we need to go back a few years for most of its history. The Lincoln cent was made of 95% copper. That's how it was struck from 1909 all the way through 1982. But by the early 1980s, copper prices were rising so high that the metal inside each penny was worth more than 1 cent. The U.S. Mint had a problem. If they kept making copper cents, people might start melting them for profit. So in mid-1982, the Mint switched the penny's composition from copper to copper-plated zinc. Auction records and values. Now let's talk about the part that makes jaws drop: the value. The 1983 copper penny has sold for massive sums at auction. In 2013, a certified example sold for over $17,000. In 2017, another specimen in high grade reached nearly $19,000. Experts believe that if a gem mint state red example were ever found, it could fetch $75,000 to $80,000 at auction. And some collectors speculate that the finest known specimen could easily push into the $500,000 or even $1 million range. Because of its extreme rarity and historical significance. How to identify one? So, how do you know if you have one of these legendary coins? Check the date and mint mark. It must be 1983. Weigh the coin. Use a precise digital scale. If it weighs 2.5 grams, it's just a normal zinc penny. If it weighs 3.1 grams, you may have the copper error. Get it certified. If you suspect you found one, send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. Authentication is critical, especially since counterfeits exist. Collecting and investing. For collectors, the 1983 copper penny is a dream coin. It represents a transitional error. A leftover from the switch between copper and zinc. Transitional errors are among the most desirable coins in all of numismatics. If you ever come across one, never clean it. Cleaning ruins the value. Protect it immediately. Use a coin flip or capsule. Get it graded. Only certified coins bring top dollar. Auction is best. Major houses like Heritage or Stack's Bowers bring serious bidders. Long term, these coins are seen as blue chip investments. With only a tiny population known, values are almost guaranteed to rise. Could you still find one? Yes, and that's the most exciting part. Because these coins entered circulation, it's possible, though extremely rare, that one could still be hiding in change, in a coin jar, or in an old collection. Imagine checking your change, weighing a penny, and realizing you just found a $80,000 treasure. It's the ultimate collector's dream. The legacy of the 1983 copper penny. The 1983 copper Lincoln penny tells a story bigger than itself. It represents the end of an era, the last breath of copper cents. It shows how tiny mistakes at the mint can create priceless rarities. It proves that even in modern times, treasures can still be discovered in everyday change. For collectors, it's more than a coin. It's a symbol of hope, luck, and the thrill of the hunt.